Good evening, you're watching The Buck Stops Here. I'm Amitabh Revi.
Good evening, I'm Neha Khanna. Our big focus tonight, the Uttarakhand forest fires of the kind the state has perhaps never seen before continue to spread alarmingly, causing destruction on a mind-boggling scale. Making matters worse is the dense cover of smoke over the forest that's severely hampered efforts to douse the raging flames.
So thick and blinding the smoke that Indian Air Force helicopters meant to spray water were forced to return to their base in the morning. They were able to resume flying later on. Vishnu was at the spot.
Well, let's take a look at what the overall situation there is. Smoke everywhere. Two words that really describe the situation over large parts of Uttarakhand. Weeks after these forest fires began, the situation in the state has now become a national issue. That's because forest fires aren't new here. They happen every year. But what's different this year is the intensity and the extent of the fires, which make efforts by firefighters on the ground and the Indian Air Force in the air tiny steps in curbing something now out of control. I was in a helicopter over the Chamoli district of Uttarakhand this morning and have this exclusive aerial survey report. Within a few kilometers of Dehradun, it's a complete whiteout condition. It's as if one is flying through a cloud. In fact, this isn't cloud, it's smoke. Everywhere that we can see, it's just smoke. Smoke that is spread throughout this area because of forest fires. The fires have been raging in several spots for several days, more than a couple of weeks now. But the impact of this is unbelievable air pollution, unbelievable smoke across large parts of the state. It's impossible to pinpoint where the fires are because what you see mostly is just smoke. Flying over here is extremely difficult now. It's treacherous. That's because of these conditions where you can absolutely see nothing at all other than small flames in the distance. This is the situation in Uttarakhand today, where these large fires have blanked out large parts of the state. Authorities over here say there's nothing they can really do until the rains come. Till then, these forests continue to burn, and with the wind and the wind direction, the smoke continues to spread. With Gopal Singh, Vishnu show for NDTV. Well, when all else fails, who do we all go to? We go to the armed forces, and now finally, and some would say very belatedly, the Indian Air Force has been called in to help. They're using 2 helicopters to actually pick up water in a bucket-like device and then throw that water in places where there's a fire. Now, it needs to be mentioned that this measure, this step by the Indian Air Force, though important, is tiny considering the extent to which the forest fires have spread. But we'll take a look at this footage to give you an idea of what these brave men are doing. But just 2 helicopters to try and curb the fires in a state where there are now more than 1,900 fires, a state where now there are more than 2,300 hectares of forest which have been badly damaged or destroyed. Those are the numbers. They are absolutely frightening. And I should tell you, in as much as they are working now, in the beginning of the day, they encountered conditions similar to what I had encountered when I was on this aerial survey, whiteout conditions, and they had to return for a while before they could restart their operations.
तो आप श्रीनगर के साउथ में अराउंड 5 to 10 किलोमीटर्स में जो एरिया है फॉरेस्ट है उसमें आग अभी लग रखी है। अभी हम लोगों ने 7 शटल किया है। पानी की औसतता हमें करीबन 17,500 लीटर्स पानी डाल दिया है जंगल में 5 शटल में। और जैसे अभी कल है कि आज जैसे एक सनसेट हो गया है, मौसम अभी थोड़ा धुंधसा हो गया है, तो कल सुबह फिर से 6 o'clock से हम लोग रेडी होंगे और ऑपरेशन करने के लिए।
Well, some of the worst hit areas are also in the Kumaon region of Uttarakhand. In Almora, Ranikhet, Bhimtal, Sattal, north of Katgodam, the situation is very bad. There are forest fires along the national highway. My colleague Sonal Mehrotra is in the Almora district and joins us now. Sonal, where you are, broadly speaking, how bad is the situation?
Well, yesterday we reported on the big picture. 7 lives lost, thousands of hectares of land destroyed, unaccounted loss to flora and fauna and even animals. But today we went in to the hinterlands, to one of the worst affected villages in the region to understand what it means for small farmers who've lost everything to the fire. Their cattle, their homes, even their livelihoods now completely charred. Take a look at the life of Shankar and thousands like him. As the Air Force begins sorties across Uttarakhand trying to douse the fire, it's little help for Shankar, who has lost his cattle, crop and even his home in the fire.
जब बाहर निकला तो ऊपर की साइड से धुआं बहुत आ रहा था।
इस साइड से
ऊपर की साइड से धुआं बहुत आ रहा था।
तो आपका घर इधर है, इस तरफ, और आग ऊपर से आ रही थी।
ऊपर से आ रही थी, बहुत भयानक आग लगी थी।
He now takes us to his village Tircha Khet in Bawali district to show us what's left of one of the worst hit villages in the region.
आग के बीच में फंस गया, तो आग के बीच में फंसा तो बचाने की कोशिश हमने की, मगर हमारे जो मैनेजर साहब हैं वो ले गए थे, वो रस्सा भी ले गए थे, खींच रहे थे, तो बीच में दीवार थी काफी ऊंची, तो ऊपर नहीं चढ़ पाया, तो आग की तरफ भागा वो।
Forest fire is not new to the people of Uttarakhand, but this year the fire fury showed no mercy. It started early and destroyed everything in its way. Shankar and his family were inside the house when the fire started. At that time, they managed to escape, taking some kids and cattle along, but this entire wall here got engulfed in fire. For now, he's managed to put his house in order, doing this temporary arrangement, but again, this is wood. And with fire still active in major zones across the region, they wonder if the next time they won't be so lucky, and this might not be enough to keep him, his family and his animals safe. And it's not just Shankar. His neighbor's kitchen caught fire along with all the cattle fodder. ये तो आपने सूखा पत्ती डाला हुआ है इसको खाने के लिए।
हाँ, क्या खाते थे? घास ही नहीं है, घास ही नहीं, खाली सूखा डाल रखा है। ऐसा इसको भी ऐसा भी नहीं मिल रहा है इनको। जंगल में घास ही नहीं है, सब आग लग गई,
सब जल गया,
सब जल गए।
Over 10 days and counting, and the forest fires in Uttarakhand are alive in pockets like these across the area. They refuse to douse despite the best efforts of the authority. They've destroyed homes, taken away livelihoods and taken away lives, remember, of man and animals alike. Locals now hoping and praying for mercy from the wind gods and the water gods to ensure that this can be doused in the most natural process possible, and there can be some rain in one of the driest seasons the area has seen in a really long time. With camera person Ashwini, I'm Sonal Mehrotra for NDTV. Well, you saw the story of Shankar there, really heart-wrenching, and thousands of people like him are now going to be starting life from scratch, while everything they owned, they had, is now burnt to ashes. But what's happening on the front where authorities are concerned? How far have they been able to take control of the fire? I'm joined by the chief conservator here in the area, in the Almora district. Sir, I want to understand from you first that while we were travelling today, we saw this massive fire right on the road, right on the highway. It was building as we spoke. The winds were taking it up to the hill. It was causing huge trouble even for the traffic on the highway. So what is being done to ensure that ये जो sporadic incidents हो रहे हैं वो बंद हो जाएं?
So for that we have employed around 2,500 people at different cruise stations. Whenever there is any knowledge that there is a small smoke and they rush to the area and they initially try to cover it within 15 or 20 minutes. So it is not inflamed. And
so we were there for about 30 minutes and nothing could be done off that fire. Even we didn't know. We had no network, no connectivity there. So even we couldn't contact people. So how is this connection really working? Whom are you depending upon and how are you getting reports of these fire?
It is most of the time it is the village people who are in where the incident occurs. They also employ, because this is the time of the mobile. Everybody has the mobile. गांव वाले हमको inform करते हैं कि साहब यहाँ आग है, you take care. And within half an hour or 20 minutes, some people, of our team, they reach there.
सर उस समय तो खैर हमारे पास टीम नहीं पहुंची थी, कनेक्शंस भी नहीं थे, तो हमें और बताइए कि और इतनी कौन सी जगह है? हमारे पास सैटेलाइट पिक्चर्स हैं जो बता रही हैं काफी जगह एक्टिव फायर है, लेकिन इस एरिया में कितनी एक्टिव फायर अभी भी है एज वी स्पीक?
फॉरेस्ट सर्वे ऑफ इंडिया की जो लेटेस्ट रिपोर्ट मेरे पास आई है, अल्मोड़ा हैज 20 एक्टिव फायर Then we have to go on the email and check where it has been reported. And our people reach there and they check whether it is in the private land or farmer's land or it is in some forest area. Sometimes it is in the forest, farmer's land there is a fire and people think that it is a forest fire. So we have to check it also. So today 25
इतना टाइम हो गया है, ये फायर कॉन्स्टेंटली बढ़ती जा रही है, तो क्या मेजर्स लिए जा रहे हैं अथॉरिटीज की तरफ से टू इंश्योर कि ये कंटेन हो पाए?
Yes. We have just doubled the manpower in the last 2-3 days, and there is the.
But has that helped? Because fire भी double हो गया, कई लोग बोल रहे हैं.
Yes. So we will further improve. We will further employ more people. In last 3 days, we have almost doubled the number of persons to combat the fire. And there is NDRF Jawans, they have also reached Almora yesterday only. So they are also with us.
So now the very important question, जो बड़ा सवाल इस समय पूछा जा रहा है कि क्या ये man-made fire है, क्या ये natural disaster है? आपके हिसाब से ग्राउंड लेवल पर क्या चल रहा है? क्यों ये फायर हो रही है? इसी साल क्यों इतने मैसिव स्केल पर हो गई है?
क्योंकि इस साल लंबा because there is a very dry spell this year only, there is no winter rain, which is very rare, and forest occurrence after 3-4 years there is a major fire, and this is the year where
ये साइकिल का पैटर्न है.
Yes, most of the time after you see the pattern after 3-4 years there is an increase in the fire, and this is this year there is a very unusual कि there is no winter rain.
पर सर अगर ये साइकिल का है and ये एंटिसिपेट था, तो इसके लिए पहले से प्रिपरेशंस क्यों नहीं करे गए? पहले से क्यों नहीं इंश्योर करा गया कि ये सारी चीजें ना हो और अवेयरनेस कैंपेन्स और क्यों नहीं बढ़ाए गए?
लेकिन ऐसा है कि जो इस समय हो रहा है वो अन्य सालों से डिफरेंट है. इट इज डिफरेंट फ्रॉम अदर ईयर्स because in the other years the most of the fires used to be in the middle of the May. This year it is in the middle of April, and we were not. It was not expected that sudden there will be a spurt of fires.
So they were caught you off guard as well. So my last question, मुझे बताइए कब तक आपको लग रहा है ये कंट्रोल पाया जा सकेगा इन फायर्स पर, और क्या तरीका है इस तरह से इन फायर्स पे कंट्रोल पाने का?
देखिए, we are waiting for the rains. It is forecasted there will be rain.
When?
After within 2-3 days.
Okay.
It is expected.
Okay.
If rain is there, most of the fire will be controlled.
Okay.
If it is not there, the fire season is still 1.5 month. It is 6 weeks, still there is a fire season. So there may be more fire that we can't predict.
All right, very important clarification coming there, that rain expected in the coming 2 days, and that's supposed to be a big relief, perhaps the only relief here in the Uttarakhand region, where officers are saying that we are hoping and praying that that happens, because if that doesn't, then the coming 6 weeks till the monsoon season actually kicks in the area, the fires could extend up till that time. Back to you in the studios.
Well, someone who's looking at the situation in Uttarakhand very, very closely is the Bollywood star Dia Mirza. She's been working on a television show, Ganga, the Soul of India, and she's had an opportunity of travelling in many parts of Uttarakhand as well. And she joins us now. Dia, great speaking to you. Do you think that when it comes to something like forest fires, people just don't care? In Uttarakhand, for example, this happens every single year, and then the rains come, and because the rains come, people tend to forget about the danger and the devastation of forest fires. Do people really care?
Okay, the first thing that we all need to understand, from what I've understood from my friends in conservation, who I work very closely with, is the following. Forest fires are a natural phenomenon. Their intensity and frequency will continue to increase due to climate change. This happens because of soil moisture evaporation and increased ambient temperature.
Yes.
One of the biggest threats that our forest rangers deal with when they are patrolling our forests, where literally on foot, they walk close to 25 kilometers a day, is forest fires. Now, if you pick up on what the gentleman who spoke before me just said, was every year during May the forest fires occur. They are prepared to deal with it. It happens annually, as he mentioned. But this year it's happened earlier, which is why they were caught off guard. It's happened earlier because they haven't had winter rains. The only thing that keeps coming to my mind is, why is it so difficult for our administration, our governments, to understand the rationale that climate change is real and we have to become more vigilant, more prepared, and really recognize the areas that need our urgent and immediate attention. If you see what the forest rangers have to deal with on a daily basis is incomprehensible. When the forest fires occur, what they have to deal with to douse those fires is incomprehensible. And then when it takes on the fierceness that it has this year, and it's leaving everybody baffled, because nature's fury is not something that man can really combat easily,
You
because
also think
it's beyond our control. There is a theory though that
No, Dia, I
there
just
is
wanted to,
a
I just
timber
wanted to jump
mafia
in.
on the
I just
ground.
wanted to jump in, Dia, and ask you this.
Yes, please
Do you
do.
believe that
Please
a
do.
great deal
Yes.
has to do with the lack of government understanding or willingness to actually do something? And let me
it's
tell
ignorance.
you why.
Yes,
For
it's
the last
ignorance.
couple of weeks, we've seen
It's
these
ignorance.
fires over there. It's only yesterday that they've deployed a total of 2 helicopters to carry out this operation to sprinkle areas with water when 2,000 hectares have already been
And
destroyed
we will
or
quickly
damaged. There are only 6,000 odd people on
And
the
we will
ground in,
quickly
in an entire
identify,
state.
we will quickly recognize, I'm sorry I'm interjecting.
No, go ahead, go ahead.
But we will quickly realize that even this will not be enough.
It can't be enough.
We will have to
yeah.
wait for the rain to occur, the rain to come to solve this problem.
Yeah. And that I think is the
So-
reality, you know, and I completely agree with you. There is no solution to this. It's not as if these are going away.
The solution is
this is
to
going to stay until
the
it rains.
solution
We have
is to-
lost this battle in Uttarakhand
Yes.
this year until it rains, and we can only pray for rainfall.
Yes, and the only way we can win this battle is becoming more aware, removing this ignorance, and working towards a simple rationale that the government and administration and the people of this country have to get, which is forests feed our rivers, rivers feed life.
Yep.
It is that same river water that will increase soil moisture
Yep.
and help combat climate change
Right.
and ambient temperature rise.
Well, Dia, thank you so much for joining us and sharing those views. I couldn't agree more. I think it's absolutely well summarized. And thank you so much for being with us today and sharing those thoughts. I hope people are listening. But a little while back, a couple of hours back, I should say, my colleague Amitabh Revi spoke to the Union Environment Minister Prakash Javadekar. Amitabh, what exactly did Mr. Javadekar have to say?
We spoke to the Environment and Forest Minister earlier in the day and actually began by asking whether he would agree this was the worst forest fire since 2012.
Definitely we have taken this very seriously, though this is little less than 2012, but still this kind of natural calamity should be taken up very seriously. And so this is at 1233 places. What had changed from 2012 is, from last year we are giving fire alerts through satellite mapping every 6 hours. We know where there is a fire, and immediately alert is generated and sent to all concerned people in forest, so that people and administration, so that they can take care of even the remotest fire. We can now map through satellite. That has changed. And this time, from today we are launching a new pre-fire alert. This is a technology which we are testing for some months now, but we decided to launch it immediately. And so there will be, this is on pilot basis, but there will be pre-fire alert which will be generated. They have started generating from yesterday. And so if there is a condition where there can be a fire, that is being captured and immediately relayed upon.
Mr. Javadekar, this is an annual event. The forestation we know is susceptible to fires, but these fires started in February. It's now May. Have you taken too long to react?
No, this is not. Let us understand it in perspective. Every year from January to May, there are summer fires in various forest areas, and they are in thousands, at 1,000 places, even a small fire. But as I told you, we started the satellite mapping, so we even pick up a smallest fire, and we immediately alert the state department. It is not the center which has a fleet of aircrafts which can immediately be sent like a military. That's not the case here. So it's the local state office, forest office, which has to deal with the situation with the help of the local population, and people help. Because I have come from village where every year there used to be, because even people used to, I know it very certainly because I have seen that people used to put it on fire because next year there will be good grass in the forest. So that was also practiced in some areas. I think that will recede. The issue is we are taking help of technology, immediately alerting people, their people are working, and so now it is controlled. But still these incidences don't diminish only because you are using technology. Unless we change the habits and unless we change the perception and the management of forest in a better way, this won't really yield the result finally. And that we are going to do it.
You're saying result, Mr. Javadekar, the priority right now is to contain or put out all these fires, but will you look at, say, if some of them have been deliberately created, man-made, because there are reports of the timber mafia being involved, or else there are possibilities of land grab attempts, clearing forest of vegetation so humans can occupy it?
There is, many things have gone viral, saying that there are timber mafias who are, and there is deliberate attempts and many things. I don't know unless I verify it. But we have taken cognizance of it, and when we will put the whole thing into perspective and will inquire about it, we'll investigate if there are such inputs. We will definitely investigate those.
Okay, investigate, but are 3 Indian Air Force choppers picking up water from, say, lakes or rivers for 2,000 hectares that are on fire too little too late, Mr. Javadekar?
They will not, because this fire is not like what we see in TV or in movie, like a California or Australian fire where the choppers and the Air Force planes do the dodging job. Here it is essentially, we can control the fires with local help, and that is what, there were 6,000 people engaged from 2 days ago, and we have asked them to increase it, and for that also we have granted 5 crore rupees immediately. And no, it's a wages only. So whatever wages come, they have their funds, we will grant from that, and the state also has the budget.
Okay, so you're saying money is not an issue. Now at Paris, you yourself reached an agreement on INDC's, intended nationally determined contributions. India agreed to add additional carbon sinks for 2.5 to 3 billion tons of carbon dioxide through additional forest cover. How much of a setback are these fires to that larger goal, Mr. Javadekar?
No, but last 2 years we have increased 3 lakh hectares of forest. See, unless we see things in perspective, it will always create confusion in minds of those who do not know all the aspects. So, if we are talking of forest fires destroying, say, last year and this year and 2 years, if 3,000 or 4,000 hectares are destroyed, they don't get destroyed at all, in a way, completely, that it doesn't become a barren land. Immediately in June, it regenerates and major things are saved. What happens is, we have also increased in 2 years 3 lakh hectares of new forest, and that is important. And therefore, through CAMPA, which I am very sure the compensatory afforestation bill, 42,000 crore rupees will be releasing for the states for aggressive afforestation. And we are also prepared our guidelines for public-private partnership in the afforestation of degraded forest, where we are today importing 40,000 crore rupees worth of timber from other countries. If we can produce and harvest our own forest, that will grow, capture carbon also, that will grow forest, it will create employment. So we are thinking very proactively on all these issues.
Mr. Javadekar, Environment and Forest Minister, thank you so much for joining us on NDTV. We, of course, spoke to the Minister earlier in the day. That's it then on The Buck Stops here. Good night.